The mass evacuation of Americans and South Vietnamese from Saigon was codenamed Frequent Wind. A flotilla of American ships had moved within 1 mile of the Vietnamese coastline to receive the evacuees. One of those ships was the aircraft carrier Hancock. One of the men on board the Hancock was machinist mate Fred Oliva, who now lives in Crawfordville. He describes how the dawn of April 30th unfolded.
There just seemed to be no end to the helicopters that were coming out, and I just couldn't see an end to them. As fast as they would take the people out of one helicopter, 2 or 3 more would land. They kept moving them around in the flight deck to get them out of the way for the next group that was coming out. So it just looked like there was no end to them.
For Oliva, it was to be a busy time. Eventually, so many helicopters began arriving, the American-built Vietnamese helicopters were pushed overboard to make room for the new arrivals. Oliva realizes he was participating in history, but he says it was still a time for reflection over what had already taken place and what was going on at the time.
I remember my first Vietnam experience back as a civilian in the States, and seeing one of my friends come back that had been killed. And that was my first taste of the Vietnam. And to see the evacuation take place and finally give up a piece of property that had fought so long and hard for it, it was real upsetting to me. I had a lot of bitterness.
Oliva remembers the bitterness, but also relief and frustration. Relief that no more people would die in the war, and frustration for the people who had already lost their lives for what he says was a hopeless cause. Vietnam touched many lives. The war cost some families their sons, and for some servicemen who served in Southeast Asia, it took a part of their lives they could not regain. Such is the case with Captain Dale Doss. Doss, who now heads the Veterans Services in Leon County, was a Navy pilot during the Vietnam War. His story tonight at 11.